How's it going today? This is Dave from Cross Ties Outdoors. Gonna have a little episode of Truck Talk here this afternoon. Wanted to bring you up to date on some of our product that we're working on, and give you a big thank you. There's a lot of you folks out there who have tried CT's Max Racks for the first time this year, and we want to thank you for that. Thank you for the interest. We've got the Max Racks going out different places now, and we're getting good feedback on that. So we really appreciate you guys that are showing interest in that. If you've used Max Racks and you've got pictures or something that you'd like to share, feel free to put that in the comments below the video here on Facebook. I also wanted to update you on the CT's Max Mass feed that we have been working on. We're pretty well done with product testing as far as that goes. Have had a lot of success with that, and just showing the palatability, and the deer really like it, and it's holding in the deer close by in areas that normally the bucks aren't staying in. Some of our test farms have told us that we put it in, and the bucks are staying in the area around the feeders that we've got out. So we're tickled about that. So I've been asked several times in the last couple of weeks when it's going to be available. As far as our end, we have everything ready to go on that. This is the time of year in the state of Kentucky that the University of Kentucky and regulatory services are really bombarded, because it is the time that they renew all the feed permits and mineral permits and that kind of stuff for deer and wildlife. And so at the time that we felt like we had achieved what we wanted to in our testing and made any adjustments that were necessary, which were very few. Made a few adjustments just to get it to pelletize better, but other than that, we pretty well stuck with the original formula we started out with. So on our end, we're good, but what we're waiting on right now is the state of Kentucky to work through the process that they have to work through with renewals on everybody and approvals. So as soon as that's ready, we'll be ready to turn it loose and put it up for sale for those that have asked about it. The other thing I want to talk to you about is, if you are in the state of Kentucky, we're midway through August, and as you well know, if you're a hunter, the first Saturday of September is opening archery season for bow hunters. And so I just wanted to go over a quick list of things that you probably should be doing or already have done, but certainly should be doing this week, if at all possible, to get ready for that. And I know a lot of the guys say, well, we don't hunt that early part because it's so hot, and a lot of times it is in the state of Kentucky. We're really hot this time of the year still into early September, but there are some benefits to it. One of the benefits is that a lot of times your bucks are still on your summertime feeding patterns, so they're easier to pattern before they completely break up out of the bachelor groups, and you can get on them, and you can score a good buck by doing that. Another thing is, if you are in Kentucky or you've hunted Kentucky, you know that there is a good likelihood that if you hunt that opening weekend into that first week, that you can take a buck in velvet. And that's pretty rare in a lot of areas, but you can do that usually in Kentucky. Sometimes that first week you'll see some that are already hard horned, but you'll still see bucks that are roaming out there that have velvet, full velvet still. So that's something to be considered. But regardless of that, if you're going to hunt, there are some things that I would point out that you probably need to be doing that would help you be successful. One is that we have already begun to see some of the nuts falling. So hickory nuts have begun falling, and the squirrels are cutting on hickory nuts and dropping, and so that's something that you can begin to watch for. And if you run up on some of those early, it's always a good idea, because that's a browse that the deer like to kind of know where that's at. Another thing that I think is really important this time of the year, if you are supplemental feeding or you are using a supplemental mineral product like Max Racks, we advise everybody to get out there, if you can, that first part of August, and freshen up your mineral licks, because your bucks are calcifying, and this is your last chance for about the next 2 to 3 weeks to help in the calcification process. And there is still, not a lot, but there is still some growth that'll be going on that you can help to influence by giving them a high protein, and then your calcium and your phosphorus and magnesium and some of those minerals that they need in the rack. So we would advise you to do that if you haven't already done that. And then also on the supplemental feeding end, we like to get in there early. And I know that right now in our area there's a lot of agriculture that's going on, and corn's getting dried up pretty fast this year, so they'll start shelling it pretty quick. But generally speaking, we don't see a huge amount of activity on our feeders at this time of the year, because we have so much soybean, we have so much corn crop that's out there right now. But what we'll start seeing is a transitionary period to the end of August into September, where the corn's coming out of the field, the deer are going to start pushing back up into the woods, the soybeans will start drying up, and what'll happen is they'll start transitioning into some other food sources, which means feeders. So what we do is we want to be prepared. We want those bucks, when they start coming into that area looking for that supplemental feed, to be able to get it and to get all that they want to help hold them into the area and to help prep them for the rut that's getting ready to happen. But we want to get it in there early enough that if you're moving feeders around, especially if you're moving protein feeders around that are gravity feeds or bigger type spin cast feeders, a lot of your deer are leery of those when you first plant them. And I can tell you from experience that we have planted in some of those bigger gravity feeders, and it's taken 2 or 3 weeks for the deer to get used to them and to be willing to approach them and start using them. So my advice to you would be, if you're going to supplemental feed, and especially if you're going to use a feeder, to get in there now, to get them completely filled. I actually spent the day today filling up one of mine that needed filled. Got a big Boss Buck, and I'm not in any way paid or endorsed, sponsored by Boss Buck, but I've got a big Boss Buck out there that we put in 350 pounds of Max mixed in with shelled corn, and that'll put us at about 16-17% protein feed with the high ratio of protein in the Max Mass. So we got it in, we got it set, so that the deer can start getting used to it, and they'll be ready for it when they need it. So get your supplemental stuff ready. Also, if you have not already started, I would highly advise you, there's nothing more frustrating than to get out there after you've prepped and you've set stands and you've put out feed and you've done food plots, and to get out there on early archery season and you have not prepped and planned and practiced with your equipment. I've been doing this a lot of years, been hunting archery for a lot of years since I was a kid. And one of the things that I can tell you is, as good as you may have been last fall, if you have not picked up your bow or your crossbow and shot it and practiced this late summer into early fall, you're not going to be as good as you were last year. You need to build that muscle strength back. You need to build that muscle memory back. You need to work on that form, all that stuff. So I would advise you not to take the chance that if you get caught having to hold your bow back on a buck that is staring you down, you need to be prepped for that by building up those muscles that you use for archery hunting. So you need to be practicing your archery. Another thing that I would advise you to do is make sure you get in, check your stands. I've got a friend right now that is wheelchair bound because he did not check and prep his stand the way he should have, and got out on the end of it and ended up going down and broke his back. So I can't stress that enough. I've had 2 friends over the years that have come out of their stand like that and broke their back. Check your stands, guys. Check your straps. Make sure that they're on those trees good. While you're in there, go ahead and clear any shooting lanes, you need to right now. Those big bucks don't get big by being stupid. They notice things. So if you need to clear shooting lanes, get those shooting lanes clear. Get those batteries in those trail cams. If you're using those cell cams, change those batteries. You may say, hey, I've got 35, 40, 50% left. Change the batteries, guys. You don't want to be running in and out. That cell cam is no good to you if you're having to go in and change batteries a week before a season. So change your batteries now. Get those things ready to go. Also, make sure that when you're in those stands that you've got draw lines. If you need something to pull a bow up, make sure you've got your hangers in, have all that stuff prepped so you're ready when you climb up on opening morning, and you don't have to worry about that stuff. Check all your gear, make sure that your strings are in good shape, that your axles are lubricated, all of your rattles and things with your screws and your accessories are all good and tight, and check that off your list. And then, you know, just make sure that you're happy with your set. If you're running those trail cams and you've been watching and you see something that's not looking like you want it to, or you're seeing a pattern that the deer are coming in a different way, you can go in right now and you can change that set and still have in the state of Kentucky about 3 weeks left for your deer to get used to your set change. So change that set now if you need to change that set. That way that they're used to that stand being moved. So there's a lot that you can do. Make sure you got your landowner's permission if you're doing that. If you're hunting on public grounds, so make sure you've got any necessary permits. Can't tell you how many times I've known guys that came in when we were outfitting and they were ready to go opening morning, had everything together, but they had forgotten to buy a tag, or they had forgotten to purchase or renew a license. So go ahead and do that now. State of Kentucky, you can do that online. Get that stuff together, and then the last thing that I tell you, and I know there's a lot of stuff other that we could talk about, but the last thing I would tell you guys is don't take this thing so serious that you don't enjoy your hunt. I've known guys over the years that have become so obsessive about trying to find that drop tine buck or that 182-inch buck that you hear all these guys talking about on social media. The reality is that in most areas you're not going to have a 200-inch buck that you're going to sit there and wait for every year and be able to kill a 200-inch buck. So get out there and kind of know what you're going after, what you're wanting to hunt. But remember, it's about going out with your family, your buddies, making memories, enjoying the creation that God's made for us to enjoy, and just having a good time. It's a freedom that we've been blessed with, and take advantage of it and do it in a way that's going to be a lot of fun for you and a lot of fun for the guys that are out there afield with you. And as always, be safe, be careful. We pray you have a good season, that you harvest a good buck, that God's blessing is upon you while you're out there, and that you just realize how fortunate you are as a citizen of the United States of America to be able to go out and hunt wild game that is there for the taking, that you can use and prep and feed your family and enjoy the time you've got out there. So you all have a great evening, and God bless you.